All right, Arsenal versus Wolves this weekend at the Emirates. Look, this is a game that it's easy to say on paper, but I'm expecting 3 or 4 goals. I'm expecting 3 or 4 goals, a competent performance against a team that is one of the worst Premier League teams I've seen in a very, very long time. I mean, we're at 15 games played this season and they haven't won one. They've drawn two and they sit bottom of the table with negative 20 odd goals. So this is a game that I'm looking at and saying, Arsenal, you need to come in, you need to make it look easy, you need to score a lot of goals, and you need to walk away having a very, very good night. It will feel the confidence of the players, and it'll start the rebuild from not a great month, in my opinion. The results against Chelsea, the results against Aston Villa have put a bit of a dampener on our title hopes. The game against Sunderland have put a damper on our title hopes. Now, it's not all dead and buried. We're still at the top of the table, and that's a very important position to maintain, especially when you're coming up against the worst team in the league and one of the worst teams we've seen in a very long time. Now, the lineup for me pretty much builds itself. I've actually left the defense blank because at this point in time, I have absolutely no idea who is fit, but it really doesn't matter who is fit because whoever comes into that defense, whether it's Ben White, Jurrien Timber, Ricardo Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Hincapié, Mosquera, Saliba, Gabriel, I don't even care if it's Salmon. I don't care if it's Norgard at the back. I expect them to do a job that sustains a clean sheet at home against the Wolves, all right? They are fucking awful. And look, we're putting our expectations very high, but when you're running for a league, you've got to set your expectations high. This Wolves team is awful. And look, I love the Wolves. I think they've been a great part of the Premier League the past few years, but there is clearly problems at boardroom level, at club level, and everything else that the fans are turning on them. They're going down, all right? And they're going to be lucky if they can come straight back up next year. It's very unlikely because they keep letting their best players go and not bringing in new talent because some of the players that they've had over the past few years, your Netos, your Jotas, they're unbelievable players, but they let them all go and don't replace them. Now, I've left the defense blank because I have no idea who's fit. Raya in goal, obviously. My midfield, I don't expect Wolves to be trying to press us and trying to attack us all game. I expect them to put in a low block, hit us on the counter. So for me, I would rest Rice. I would rest Rice. I don't see a point in using him. He's had too much game time. He's got a few knocks. Rest him. I've actually also rested Zubimendi. I think, why not? Give him the night off. Merino, Eze, and Odegaard would be my midfield because I don't think we need much defense, right? I don't know who the defenders are going to be. We know that there's a few injuries. We know Calafiori is red carded, so none of those guys are going to play. But I think we can still build a good enough defense with Raya behind him that we don't need a defensive midfielder. And worst case scenario, Merino can do that job. Merino can do that job and let Eze and Odegaard float up through the left and the right eight and feed the ball to our attackers, who I've actually picked Madueke on the left, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres up front. I know Gyökeres have had a bit of a shocker the past few weeks, plus the injury, but we've got to stay with it. We've got to stay with it. We've got to feed this guy. If we watch a game on the weekend where we have all the ball, we have Odegaard, Eze, Saka, and Madueke feeding the ball constantly to Gyökeres, and he's missing goals and he's missing open chances, then I'm happy to have that discussion of whether he's good or whether he's not good enough. And for me, up until this point, the guy's lucky to get 1, maybe 2 shots on goal through the game. Yeah, his touch needs to improve. Sometimes his movement needs to improve. But we all knew buying Gyökeres, he wasn't a person that is a cross merchant. He doesn't jump up and score a heap of headers like a Chris Wood would. He doesn't do that. He is a person that needs the ball at feet, needs to run into space, and needs to be open on goal. And we don't create that chance for him, so I don't expect him to do much. And he's not a Gabriel Jesus or what we used Havertz with that drops in, plays that Roberto Firmino role and feeds the wingers. He's not that either. He is his own player until Mikel Arteta starts to play the game for Gyökeres, who is our attacker, who is our centerpiece of our attack. It's not going to work, and it never will work, all right? And look, if he changes his tactics and we feed Gyökeres the ball a heap of times and he starts missing chances, look, I'm very happy to say this guy's not good enough. Sell him in January, sell him in August. We got to get rid of the guy because he's clearly not good enough at Premier League level. But I haven't seen anything up until this point to say that he isn't because we don't feed him the ball. He doesn't get the chances. In terms of Madueke, what he did on the midweek against Club Brugge, automatically gets into the squad. Bit harsh on Martinelli. Look, I wouldn't be opposed to having Madueke on the right and Martinelli on the left. All right, because Saka has not been good enough the past few weeks. Madueke showed that he deserves the chance on the weekend. Eze clearly doesn't work on the left wing. Martinelli scored a great goal. Play him, play Madueke. The good thing is about this squad, right? We can play all these players. You go in, halftime 2-0, 3-0 up against Wolves. You can bring them all off. We don't have to be tentative. We don't have to be slow. We don't have to be anything else and make them run around for 90 minutes. You go in at halftime, 2 or 3 goals up. The game is over. You can start putting on some of the youngsters. You can start putting your Wenieris on. You can put your anybody that you want. Anybody that's on the bench that is young, needs minutes, Norgard, whatever, chuck them on. Gabriel Jesus, chuck them on because they're not going to lose us the game. They're all very, very good quality players. These guys get a good 45-minute run out, score some goals, win the game, night off. That would be my strategy coming into this game. I can understand if you play a bit of a weakened squad because it is Wolves, but you play a weakened squad, you go in at halftime 0-0, 60 minutes comes around, it's still 0-0. Maybe it's 1-0 and you're still on your edge of your seat saying, we haven't won this game. All of a sudden, then you're bringing on your Gyökeres, your Sakas, your Odegaards, your Ezes to win you the game. And hey, sometimes they can get injured in that last 30 minutes because they've been sat on the bench, they're cold, they've gotten onto the field, had a run out, tried their hardest to score a goal, win the game, gets injured, and then we're looking at next week and saying, was that the best tactic that we could have gone into the game? Look, you never predict an injury. We could start all these guys and they could come off in the first half injured. But for me, this would be the lineup. I'd try and win the game by halftime and then we can start subbing on whoever we want. The defense will be the big surprise, I think, on the weekend. I think everybody was surprised when Norgard got started at centre-back during the week. Looking forward to the weekend. I have no idea who's fit. Arteta doesn't tell you. You watch his press conference and he's got a knock. It'll be a few days. We've got to go scans and then it's 3 months' time and all of a sudden he's back on the bench and you're saying, where the fuck's he been? So for me, that would be the lineup. My prediction for the game, it's got to be 3 or 4-0. I'm going to go 3-0. We don't typically score a lot of goals when we're supposed to. Sometimes when we score a lot of goals, it's when we least expect it. So when I come into a game and I'm expecting 4 or 5, it doesn't normally come. So I'm predicting a 3-0 victory. I'll be more pissed off if we concede than if we don't score 4, if I'm being honest. I think the clean sheet is necessary against Wolves. Look, I guess a lot of that depends on whether we do have Norgard playing at centre-back or not, but Wolves are awful. Look, Wolves are just dreadful, and I'm expecting a very competent victory and doing it quick and doing it quite easily. So that is my predicted preview, and let us know in the comments what you guys think. Who would you start? Who do you think needs a run out? Who would you rest? And what do you think this defense is going to be? Let us know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm out here, guys. See ya!